Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Press X to Revolution. This is the Press X to Revolution podcast, episode 3, which will be coming out Friday, July 2nd, 2021. My name is Michael. As always, I'm here with my brother, Marcus.
What's up?
I'm here with my other friend, Andrew.
What's up?
And I am here with the Trisha Paytas of Press X to Revolution, Alan.
I do not understand that reference, but I am the arbiter of truth.
You should be offended.
Yeah,
I am.
really should.
I'm perpetually offended, really.
Okay.
I listened to a podcast and somebody referenced Trisha Paytas and they said, "What does she do on the internet?" And he said, "I don't know. She sits on her kitchen floor and cries a lot." And that's the only thing they could say that Trisha Paytas does.
She has bad takes, starts fights, and ruins podcasts. So, welcome, Alan.
I am an American media personality.
I want to write
okay.
the Alan Walker IMDb bio.
That would be a special thing. Anyway, this is the Press X to Revolution podcast. We're regular guys doing regular real life things all the time, talk about video games because we love them and we've been playing them as long as anybody else that you've seen on the internet, and we love to talk about them. I'm just getting the vibe that this week is going to be a little bit buck wild. So I have a schedule in front of me,
Is it?
but I have a feeling that we're going to get one of those good old Alan waves, and I'm curious because we had some hot debates in our Discord chat today, and some of these topics may come up. So
That's true.
let's briefly go over what we've been playing so people know what we're up to. Alan, have you beat Mass Effect 3 yet?
No, I'm currently playing Mass Effect 3, but I discovered, if you see my Instagram stories, I have discovered there are two things that I say while I'm playing. So, like, in Mass Effect 3, all of a sudden you're surrounded by 30 enemies at once, and you never know where you're getting shot from, especially when you're playing on Insanity. So your shield's just gone. And so, like, you just hear the of them just, like, piddling away your health. And when I find them, like, when I finally find the person, like, and shoot them with my shotgun, I'm like, do you think I'm playing with you? All the time. And then also I discovered...
Like you say this out loud?
Yeah.
Yes, out loud.
Oh, okay, good.
And then the other thing I say is when, like, a guy, like, throws a smoke grenade and I can't get to him, or, like my charge doesn't work and I have to run him, or he, like, misses... I miss him with my shotgun blast. I'm like, what do you think's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Like, to the guy who's running from me. As if, like, how dare he?
I freaking love that you have real life, like, character quips, like you're a boss in a video game.
I am.
It's
I do
official.
frequently.
You suck.
So I die a lot in Mass Effect 3. It's not as hard as 2, but oftentimes my charge doesn't work, and that's what restores my shield. And so I'm literally like 3 guys in front of me, and I'm just pressing triangle, and then I just
and
like I die,
you're standing
and I'm like
in
this.
the open. Yeah.
Yes, like literally, they're right in front of me. It just doesn't register, and I say, "Are you kidding me?" So I'm close. Mass Effect 3 is an excellent game. I forgot like some of the set piece moments and the ends of some of the storylines, like the conclusion of Morden and the Genophage, like just fantastic.
So good.
Just absolutely fantastic. And then the Leviathan freaking DLC was I've been stuck in the Aria, the Omega DLC for the last 3 days. Why is it so long? It's like freaking I'm playing Blood and Wine from The Witcher. It's so long. But I should be done. I think I'm about halfway through the story. I'm about to go mess with the Geth because the Quarian decided it was good to make war on them again. Idiots. So
Is it not right to make war on the Geth?
No,
who are you gonna
Andrew.
Who are you going to side with? You
Hey,
pick a side.
Andrew.
my Paragon's high enough to where I can side with both of them.
Dude, the first time that I played that game and they're doing the countdown and you're trying to talk them down mid, like countdown to
Yeah.
nuking each other, I was freaking... My beehole was clenched up real hard.
Oh, the stupidest thing about Mass Effect 3 is the freaking samurai that comes out of nowhere.
I was
Kai
curious for you to
Lang.
talk about that.
It's so dumb. Like, he has a sword. He doesn't even use a gun. He has a sword and a biotic barrier. And everyone just stands there like, oh, what an amazing assassin. And they try to shoot him and he blocks the bullets that can shoot through like anything. Like you can penetrate anything, including biotic barriers, but he blocks it with a katana. And not one person, not Liara, who is one of the most powerful biotics in the vicinity, or Samara, none of them. They can't do anything. Not one of them. I don't use my charge. They don't use the freaking lift or ravage or anything. They're just like, oh, what an... And it's just dumb. It is so tonally dissonant. I don't even understand it. And Anderson's like, oh yeah, we ran into him during my Spectre mission with Saren. You gotta be careful of Kai Lang. And I'm just like, why? Like, why do I need to be careful of Kai Lang other than they're trying to shoehorn a samurai into a space game? And I love samurai, but they don't belong in space games.
He's just the cyborg assassin, the cyborg ninja from Metal Gear 1. Like, it's just this.
Also, it can fit in Metal
Gear.
Is it swords and guns a big thing that happens in, like, weeb stuff?
In anime.
Yeah.
But there has not been one person using a sword in the entire trilogy. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make it's just literally like stereotypical Asian samurai. It's just
I literally do not know who you are talking about. I saw you post a picture of him. Is he only in DLC?
No, he is one of them. He is the main agent of the Elusive Man in 3. Huge
I remember nothing.
He kills Thane.
I'm glad I'm not the only one because I do not remember this man either.
I thought Thane died of natural causes.
Yeah, he was.
Thane is dying of natural causes.
Natural causes of a katana through his neck.
No, Kai Lang, because Kai Lang is trying to assassinate the counselors, and Shepard just stands there like, huh? And your whole party, so Liara and Edie or freaking whoever you're using, Garrus, they're all just like, huh? And Thane, the dying Drell, like engages. There's a freaking martial arts fight between Kai Lang and Thane. And I'm like, what? And then Kai Lang eventually runs him through, and then he dies because he can't process the blood because of his disease.
I have completely blocked all of
that. That's because it was a stupid plot point.
I do not remember any of that.
They do Thane dirty.
Thane died on his deathbed.
Yes, from blood loss. From being stabbed by Kai Lang.
That always happens?
Yes, you cannot avoid it.
Yeah, dude, I blocked it all. It's all gone.
Meanwhile, Morden gets this epic send-off. Like, the Morden resolution is fantastic.
Yeah.
So stupid.
I said now Alan's realizing why Michael gives someone so many things 5 stars on BookTube, because he forgets all the bad, dumb stuff. And only
I give stuff 5 stars all the time, but Kai Lang is dumb.
Yeah. I will admit that if there is something that I cannot accept, I will intentionally block it out.
Fun fact: when I first got an Origin account on PC, I made Thane my profile pic because he's awesome.
Thane is cool. I like Thane.
He's really cool.
All right. Anyway, that's what I'm doing.
Alan?
I am not like you people. I don't understand you. I play one game until I am done with that game.
That's
going
to be a soundbite.
So,
I'm not like you people. I don't understand you. Should be another soundbite.
I don't understand how people are like, yeah, I'm playing like all this and this. I can't. I play one game. When I am done with that game, aka I have platinumed it, then I will play something else.
Hey, it's not Andrew. Andrew, what you been playing, boy?
I haven't really been. I had a whole lot of time this last week to get back into Stellaris.
He's going to give us our next Ken Burns documentarian session of the Stellaris Wars.
No, that is coming though. I've got some. I need some stuff to do because I've just been so busy. I haven't had a lot of time to spend. So I've been mostly spending time in. I almost said Dead Cells for some reason.
It rules. You should play it.
Octopath Traveler. I picked that up for the Switch during Prime Day sale, and I've been playing a lot of that. It's really scratching my itch, and it's a cool game, but it's really making me want to just drop it and go back and play Final Fantasy VI. Like that is a lot of that game down to it's got special battle music, and this I haven't played a lot of JRPGs to know like they probably all go off of this theme, but like it's got its specific battle music, and when you win, it's got its win music, and it's got its it's different character themes and stuff like that. Like the music is awesome, but what it's doing mainly is just making me want to go drop it and just play Final Fantasy VI. But I am enjoying that.
If you haven't heard in the news with the freaking release of the remasters of the first 6, remember that are only coming out for PC or phone. You can buy the bundle of 6. Remember, some of these games are more than 20 years old. You can buy the bundle for $74.95, or if you buy them individually, you can pay $90. And apparently, Square chose the worst font. Like the font is the tiniest, most unreadable font for the dialogue that they possibly could have done. I'll send you a screenshot right now. Please continue.
Love it. So I've been playing a lot of that, but mostly what I've been playing, I shouldn't say mostly, but what I have been playing on aside from that is Mario Golf. I've been playing a lot of that, just enjoying that. I wasn't as into golf games growing up. I just never had them. Was never really interested. We weren't a golf family, so I just never cared to pick one up.
Okay, because I like Mario Golf so much, and because I like golf games so much, I don't want to accidentally give people the impression that normal people like golfing games. I think you're in the normal section of the world. I think it's normal to be like, I don't freaking play golf games. Who wants to freaking play a golf game?
Michael, I've grown up with listening to you talk about nothing but how golf games are amazing.
I'm so sorry that I have ruined your perception of reality.
It's okay. Like, my perception of reality is totally distorted. But how
are you liking it though?
I like it. It's fun. I want to play more of it. I started into the story getting through the tutorial of like the campaign was actually super useful because it goes into more details about all the different things you can do, and as far as like backspins, top spins, stuff like that. Yep. So I was really glad to play that, and I'm just really enjoying just not even doing the campaign at this point, just playing golf. Just knocking in a couple holes up here and there.
Do you prefer standard rounds or speed golf or battle golf?
So I tried battle golf once, and it was like, okay, like, this is fine. I'm sure it gets way more competitive with actual people, but it was just me against several computers. So it wasn't much. I really prefer the standard golf with the everyone play at once.
Your go-to player?
Waluigi.
Mario.
Waluigi.
No.
Did you say Mario?
I said Mario, yeah.
Mario is the best. That's who I play.
That is literally the most boring choice you vanilla people could make. The most boring choice.
Also, Mario I heard a rumor that Michael's kid might be better than him, and she's like 4.
Is that accurate? No, is Tesla better than you?
No one's ever beat me.
Oh.
Ever in anything. That's called older brother syndrome. Nobody ever beat me ever. I'm dope at everything.
A lot of Mario games, when they release them, Mario Kart, Smash, like they all come out with Mario as like, he's your entry level. Like he's the one that you should play with to get familiar with the game, and then you can move. Vanilla
because he's always balanced. You should always play Mario in a Mario game.
Yep.
Always.
Yes.
Except for Smash, you should play Ness because he's OP.
Well, you should play Pikachu.
I do. Tangent. I played where I was playing golf with my brothers last night, and they saw that I had Smash. They're like, let's play Smash. So we played it. My younger brother picked up Ike and did nothing but up B the entire match, and it was infuriating.
Dude,
I couldn't handle it. And then we ended up banning Ike from the matches, and I was like, listen, you can play if you want to play him, you can. But then me and my other brother D were like, we're gonna crush you, and he's like, fine, let's do it. And then we just crushed him, and he's like, God, this isn't fair. So anyway,
every time you ban something from a Super Smash Brothers game, Sakurai dies again. He's been forced to make that game over and over, and people keep treating it like it's a serious fighting game, and he's like, I just want people to have fun.
I bought that game specifically for a couch party with my brother and a good friend of ours, and they told me, when we played like 2 matches of it, and they told me, we have to play something else. This is getting too competitive. And I was just like, well, I bought this for fun.
You cannot play Smash Brothers for fun, because the longer you play Smash Brothers, the more like resonant airwaves you send out that eventually will attract someone to your couch who utters the words iframes. And once you've done that, it's no longer fun. And seriously, even if it doesn't start out that way, someone will eventually land there who's like, you gotta use this as priority and you get to iframes. Yeah. And then it's not fun.
I bought after
Does that mean that I am the annoying Smash player here?
Have you said? Do you say iframes?
Yeah,
I say iframes in every game.
My brother's a freaking nerd.
No one likes playing games with you, Michael. I just need you to know that. How many iframes do you think we get when we're our masculine tank top army guys from?
I know how easy it is to die in that game. There's 0 iframes in any of the Dark Pictures anthology games. Did your brothers beat you at golf? Is what I'm trying to ask.
No, actually, and it was really funny because I had to. They were getting really into the pace, so they wouldn't pay attention to if they were using their wedge or their putt, and so they would overshoot quite a bit. One of my brothers got a triple bogey at one point. It's just like, just slow down. Like, you're fine. Just pay attention. So we worked through it. They had fun with that. My brother, he really likes to play me in Mario Kart because he found one cheat character where it's like Yoshi with his motorcycle that apparently is like the fastest thing in the game, and he wins every single time he plays it.
Are you playing Deluxe, like 8 or whatever?
Yeah, 8 on
Mario
the
Kart
Switch.
8 sucks. It's not.
Hold on.
Don't all Mario Kart.
What engine speed are you playing at? Do I need to beat your brother? Put some fear into him.
We've done I think we've done 200, and he still won. Like,
oh dang, maybe he's better than me.
He's like, yeah. Well, I don't think he's better. I think he just found the one combination of character, bike, and tires that is just like unbeatable, because he knew when we first played, he knew exactly which ones he was going to play.
I challenge him. I'm challenging your brother to Mario Kart.
All right. So anyway, that's just kind of mostly what I've been playing. I really want to get back into Stellaris though. Those bird people, they need to come back.
Some rolling over to do.
I think there's going to be a change in the bird people's future. So
you're going to start ruling with an iron fist. You're like, let's go.
Martial law for everyone.
Marc, give us the Dead Cells update.
I almost beat Dead Cells, kind of like on accident almost. Like I was, Danny makes me go to bed early, and I just play video games on my Switch while she goes to sleep early, like an old person. And I was just playing. I was like, oh, I noticed. I was like, okay, I'm further than I ever have been, but like wasn't trying. And I walked into a boss room, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I know I've been making jokes about the Switch not being able to keep frame rate up. Dude, the chunking that was going on.
It just went full on Switch mode.
Dude.
That game cannot be that hard to run.
Dude.
It can't.
No, it's got to be an optimization issue.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
And also, I remember watching Michael play some. I think they've come up with like patches and stuff for it. Like, it's not as rough as it was when you were playing. But like, it started to chunk a little bit, and then I realized I've gotten okay at, like, I'm not bad at the game anymore, I don't think. Like, I'm pretty good. And I realized, I was like, I think I'm kind of killing it. And I looked, and the boss is at like a quarter, I only got him down like a quarter health. So I was like, oh, so he still had 3/4 of his life left. And I was like, oh, this is probably, I'm like, this might be the last boss. And once he gets half health, some of the like moves he unlocks.
I was gonna say you get like a multiple phase boss here.
Yeah, I don't know how to dodge. Like some of them, I was like, I don't know if there's a thing I was supposed to learn, or one of those permanent abilities you can get at some point. I was like, I don't know if I missed something, or if I didn't luck out in some of the roguelike stuff to get certain skill. I was like, I don't know how to dodge some of this. Like, you might have to eat some of it. I don't. But I didn't realize this might be the last boss till this thing started kind of kicking my butt, and I was like, oh, maybe I should have like sat up, gone out of the bedroom real quick, trying to fight this boss. So I'm not just laying on my side trying to make my dog shut up in his kennel while I'm doing this. And he killed me, and I haven't been able to get back since. But
yeah, so that's the great thing about those good old roguelites where, oh, I gotta beat the whole game again to get there.
The entire game again.
Just to get face rolled.
And also, I have to, like, because all the items at this point, like, I have to kind of have a certain build to make it far in the game, so sometimes I just don't get the right items either. And it's like, oh, well, I'll get a few extra souls and unlock some stuff, but it's fun. Dead Cells rules. It does chunk sometimes, though, and it
Hey, Alan, what's your favorite roguelite or roguelike?
Binding of Isaac. I don't really play those games. They stress me out, and they're not super fun to me because I like to have something to show for what
progress.
I did.
Yeah.
Binding of Isaac I thought was weird enough to be interesting, and I was good enough at Isaac to where I could make progress depending on the items I got. But I don't seek those games out really. So Isaac may be the only one of those I've played. So,
Sure.
Andrew,
you got one?
I might get Hades when it comes to the PS4.
Sure.
I don't know. Say Oregon Trail.
I mean, it's kind of
right. I've never really played that game. I played the Apple Store version of that game. I didn't play it back in the day.
Nobody wants to talk about that Rogue Legacy, dude.
Rogue Legacy rules so hard.
I did not like Rogue Legacy.
What is Rogue Legacy?
Rogue Legacy is like the reason that I like it is because while it is a roguelite, it's a game where you actually do feel like you make some progress. So I mean, it's a character when your character dies, you play as one of their children, and they can inherit weird traits, like genetic traits and stuff. But it's one of the games where, like, technically the maps are randomized, but in general, you go one direction long enough, you get to one of the bosses, and then you go to the next direction long enough to get to one of the bosses. So it is still randomized. When you die, you still lose a lot of stuff, but also there is a decent amount of things that can go through to the next playthrough as far as like your talent tree goes.
Yeah. And also boss deaths. If you kill a boss, you don't have to re-kill it. You don't have to kill all 5 bosses in one run to win.
There's a while it has a lot of the things from the rogue genre or whatever, there's still a decent amount of persistence. Also, that game the control's very tight and I love it very much. And I think there's a second one now.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I didn't really play roguelikes that much, so I just not one that really is coming to mind as far as I like Binding of Isaac was like that was too weird for me. Like I didn't really care for it.
Didn't like shooting poop to find items?
No, I didn't.
I have not played this game since I met my wife. I got into
Splunky, I guess.
Sure.
We're talking about run based. It's not really a roguelike, but it's run based, and I really like that one.
Dude, Alan, you're such a freaking bully, man.
I'm not a bully. You're a bully.
I'll talk about what I've been playing.
Got him.
Mario Golf. Yeah, dude, freaking owned me there.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So that Mario Golf game is pretty good. It leans heavily into the arcade side of things. So,
which is how I like it.
Yeah, I like both simulation side and arcade side. I think that Nintendo does the Nintendo thing, which is that it is an arcade golf game, but it's still, there's just enough Nintendo jank in it where like, if you hit the ball, the default speed is slow motion. Like, it goes incredibly slow. If you like drive a ball, it's just like the ball moves so slowly. There's a button that you have to hold that makes it go faster, which actually just speeds it up to like normal human speed. And but if you're playing with children or your wife, they don't press that button. So there's a lot of watching the ball fly through the air very slowly, knowing exactly where it's going to go, which is frustrating. The standard regular golf mode I think is good. The speed golf mode and the battle golf mode, which are introduced. So here's the thing. I don't know if Nintendo specifically chose to implement those modes because of the indie game that came out a couple years ago called 300-Foot Robot Golf. The 300-Foot Robot Golf handles all of those elements significantly better than Mario Golf does. It's way more, and like, listen, that game's a little janky. It's not a very good actual golf game. But since we're talking about battle golf and speed golf, where you have to run and get the ball and you can attack your players and you can knock their ball out of the way or whatever, it's so much better than Mario Golf.
Isn't 300-Foot Robot Golf the one that McElroy's like did the voiceover for?
Yeah, for when they play some ball chess. Yeah, the King's game.
Yes, they voice the announcers and whatnot.
Yes,
yeah. There's also you can pilot a mech piloted entirely by corgis in 300-Foot Robot Golf.
Alan, you should play in there. 300-Foot Robot Golf.
What's it for?
PS4.
PlayStation.
I'm probably not going to play that.
It's very good. I highly recommend it if you're looking for.
I love that he asked him and he goes, "Yeah, I'm still not going to do that."
Yeah, I'm not going to
glorify his ridiculous nonchalance with a justification by laughing.
There was no world that he was just curious what it was on.
No, I was hoping that it was on the Switch so I could just default to that. Instead, I have to be like, I'm probably not. Who would I play it with? Myself?
That's a joke I do to my wife a lot. She'll ask me to do something, I'll be like, okay, I'm not going to do that.
Why would I play golf by myself?
You play with me, Alan. It has a campaign.
Anyway, how gripping is the story? Is it good?
No.
What act is your favorite in it? Does the middle drag a little bit?
Guys,
the story is not very good.
The last golf game I played was Hot Shots Golf for the PlayStation 2. Last golf game I played, which was good. It's actually really good. And
Hot Shots is a decent simulation. Like, it's actually more hardcore than Mario Golf.
Mario Golf for the GameCube was really good too. I enjoyed that. And then I played Golf for the Nintendo, which is actually surprisingly good for a Nintendo game.
It's available on the Switch.
Yeah, it's pretty. Well, there you go. I mean, I don't know why anybody would play that, but it was decent for being a Nintendo game, considering how bad many Nintendo games are.
That is a comment I will dodge and say that Mario Golf is very arcadey. All of the introduced new modes, maybe they're more fun if you play with people, but local play, they're only 2 players.
Hold on, do you think regular Nintendo games are good? NES games, the majority of them were excellent? Is that what you're telling me?
Hold on. Regular Nintendo games, you meant NES. You did not mean Nintendo games in general.
I will never say Nintendo as a catch-all for the company. I will always say the system. So if I say Nintendo, Unless we're specifically talking about the company. I'm saying I played I played the original Golf on the NES. I don't say NES very often. Sorry.
Yeah, if we're accepting that most NES games are garbage, that is true.
Like the liars, all the lying friends that you have. It's like, oh yeah, I beat Battletoads and TMNT on Nintendo. Super easy. They're lying to you.
Now, if you said SNES, then that's different. There's a lot of SNES games that are good.
There are a lot of SNES games that are excellent. Though I will argue that the Genesis is a superior system. But I did have both, and I did like both. I think the Genesis is superior.
At one point, you used to buy more than one system.
I don't give a crap what the hardware's like. I care about what games were on it.
Whoa.
I don't know, dude.
The Genesis.
That might have to be a debate for another episode.
Yeah, we have to come back
Shining
to this.
Force, Michael. Shining Force 2. Phantasy Star 2.
These are all Game Boy Advance. These are all Game Boy Advance.
What?
These are all Game Boy Advance games.
Sonic is good too.
Sonic is not a good game.
Sure it is. 2 is. 1 isn't, but 2 is, and neither's 3. But 2's good.
It's okay. It's nothing. It's not as good as freaking Super Mario World.
Okay, I agree with you. It's not as good as Super Mario World. However, I just finished listing a whole bunch of other games that make the Genesis superior. Warsong, so the first Langrisser. What else did I play? Shining in the Darkness was an excellent. Well, not as good as the Shining Forces.
Final Fantasy 3.
What? Final Fantasy 3 was Super Nintendo. That's a point in the Super Nintendo's favor. So, Secret of Mana, Secret of Evermore, Final Fantasy 2/4. But that is
Chrono Trigger.
Look, I do not like Chrono Trigger. Is not the trump card meme of the guy falling into the crowd, being like, "Oh," that people think it is. Like Chrono Trigger is an excellent game, but it is not the pinnacle of human achievement. Like people going
close though.
It's an excellent game. It is an excellent game. However, Final Fantasy VI is better, which I already listed. And
on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I agree. It is. I agree with you. I just think that the Sega, including the Sega CD, which I will, has like Popful Mail is the best. Popful Mail is one of the best platformers, RPGs, action RPGs that existed at that time. So good. It was hilarious too. So funny. It's good.
I don't know what that game is. I have zero knowledge of it. That's a ridiculous title.
Are we done yet?
Her name was Popful Mail. I can't listen to this anymore. She was a mercenary. It's because you don't. It's because you're all. That's because I literally, Michael. Why didn't you make this panel balanced? This is literally a Nintendo fanboy chat with someone who has reason and logic, and that's me.
He's never played a Nintendo game in his whole flipping life.
He's playing a Switch. When we started, Michael.
It's like the first time he's ever touched a Nintendo console. Dude, the dude had never played a Zelda game like 2 years ago.
No.
Have you played a Zelda game besides Breath of the Wild?
Phantom Hourglass.
But he's a Nintendo fanboy now. You've converted him.
Hey, Michael. How's Jedi Fallen Order?
I didn't get as far in Jedi Fallen Order this week as I wanted to, but I did get a really cool set piece moment where I got to drive an AT-AT and shoot a bunch of things. And talk to for some reason I think they made a mistake when they were making Jedi Fallen Order and they were like, hey, we're gonna include Wookiees in the game, but let's not model them. Let's just have them be like generic plastic weird texture of maybe matte fur, and they look ridiculous. The Wookiees in this game look awful. I've only had to see them twice, but also, the soundbite for the Wookiee was just a dude going, like, dude, everyone can do a better Wookiee. My dead dog could do a better Wookiee than that freaking Wookiee that you just did.
Hold on, how does the Wookiee sound in that game?
Not doing it again. Only one time.
I forgot how terrible these looked. I'm looking at some screenshots.
Yeah, the Wookiees in the Jedi Fallen Order look awful.
Send me a screenshot, Andrew.
I like how you said you had to see that. You only had to see that. Like the game is like. Dude, sometimes this game punishes me. Like, if you die, like, one of the dying consequences, you have to look at the Wookiee.
Yeah, I asked my friend about Fallen Order, because he platinumed it, and he says it wasn't hard at all, Michael. So, how do you defend yourself?
It's not hard.
You said it was like Dark Souls. That's what you said.
What? And just in freaking formatting.
Like something is hard, and you have to learn how to pass it.
Like, there's bonfires, and every time you sleep at one, you get your health back, and everybody respawns.
And there's, hold on, iframes in it.
Are you sure you weren't saying that? Are you sure you weren't just saying it was hard?
Yes, because I beat dude. I've only died most of the times that I've died were janky platforming, which is not in Souls.
That's how I die in Tomb Raider.
So you're making the noise from those things in the 90s, those little stupid bars.
It made me think of the Daft Punk, like the Daft Punk. Yeah.
I was unprepared for the accuracy of that impression, but I also played the game called The Medium. It was on Game Pass. I'm going to play that with Amanda.
That's coming out.
It's a game. It's a killer trailer. It's an adventure game where you play a medium who can like sometimes she accidentally touches an object and she could like see into the spirit world.
Same.
Unfortunately, so like the trailer for this game looks amazing. And I'm like, oh dang, this is one of those like high budget indie games where I'm not going to be able to tell it's an indie game. And then I start playing it. I'm like, okay, yeah, there you can kind of tell it's an indie game. And sometimes I think like this may spawn into another conversation. We'll see. Games have a certain design philosophy that they've always had. And one of the value additions for games has always been length, regardless of whether that length is actually quality or worth a crap.
Okay.
And that's how you like would have these JRPGs where like it was 90% grinding and then like some new stuff every time. So in the Medium, it's an adventure game. It doesn't have a lot of action, which I love adventure games. I'm cool with them. I've played some very good ones.
You haven't finished any of them.
I finished a lot of them, just not Grim Fandango.
Okay.
The thing about this one though is it likes to add some gameplay for the sake of making you do things, but because it's an adventure game that's mostly story focused, those things are not always fun. So like there's a section where you walk into the woods, you hear a ghost child, and you have to follow the ghost child through the woods, which means you get to press the button to get Batman in detective mode to see his footprints. And you walk through the woods and nothing happens for like 20 minutes. It's like, why did I have to do, like, why wasn't this like a 2-minute walk? And then I come to the clearing, because that's what happens is you come to a clearing and there's a building you have to investigate. It's like, why was this a 20-minute walk other than just value adding gameplay?
That feels to me like in PlayStation 3 when I would have to use the motion controls on my PlayStation 3 controller because they put it in the PlayStation 3 controller. And I'm just like, why is me just pressing a button not more efficient?
In Uncharted 1, when you're walking over a log and you've got to like use this to balance.
I forgot about that because that's not in the remaster.
Or in Uncharted when they go, you definitely want to have to tilt a controller to throw a grenade where you want it, right? You definitely want to have to do that every time.
Was that in the game? I forgot that.
Uncharted 3, I think. Yeah, you had to throw a grenade. You'd hold the grenade button and then like it would zoom up and you get an arrow and you'd like tilt all around to throw where you wanted it to go.
I thought they had taken that out by 3. I thought it was just in 1 where they had to do
the main thing is nobody cares. And I don't know why they thought anybody cared. Like making something more difficult for someone playing a game, I don't understand why designers don't think. I mean, here's what happens. It's not designers' fault because designers are generally good at their job. It's the people forcing the designers to make the game who are like, hey, we are requiring you to put in some kind of motion thing. So I'm not going to blame the designers. It's the idiots. It's the idiots who don't know anything about game design. They're trying to cash in.
If you guys ever want to go back and watch something truly incredible and just like a moment in gaming history, go back and watch the E3 press conference in 2005 or 6 when Sony unveiled and announced and like show everybody the PS3. It is something to see, and just especially with perspective, because they like bring out the motion controls and they're like showing you, like, look at this, I have 6 degrees of motion, and it's just like you guys have no idea. Because they came out and that was with the whole pricing kerfluffle.
Sure.
Of just like, it was like, what was it, $600 back in a day when like the 360 was selling for, was it $299, I think?
Yeah, I think
like so. It was like twice the price for the PS3. It had like built-in Blu-ray. They're like, look, this is, it was just something really cool to see. One of my favorite videos on YouTube is watching some press guys from Giant Bomb watch the PS3 conference, and they're just like, what is happening here? It's really something.
So yeah, I think that video game developers should take a hint and realize that length is not inherently good for length's sake. So we played it for a decent amount of time last night, my Amanda and I, and there was a very long section where you have to break into this building that's clearly haunted, but it involves you walking all the way across the parking lot to pick up a screwdriver, to walk all the way back across the parking lot to use that to open a door. Inside the door, for some reason, there is a dumpster, and then you push the dumpster to the front of the building, which takes more time to climb in the window, and then you get inside the building. It's like, why couldn't I just bust through the window of this abandoned building and then be inside? That's how normal, like, if I was in real life being like, I'm going to investigate this building, It's a dilapidated old trash heap where the windows are already broken. I'm a bust through.
Do they do things in where like the characters have interesting conversations during moments like that? Or is it just silence and you're just pushing a dumpster?
That's all silence.
Oh,
so I have high hopes for this game. The trailer makes it look really cool. They got a Troy Baker, so it's quality enough to have a Troy Baker.
Xbox lost exclusivity on it. It's coming to PlayStation. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll see. I enjoy a good adventure game. Amanda thought I let her pick between The Medium, the Blair Witch game, and what was the other third one? Oh, the Plague Tale game, and she picked The Medium. So we'll see.
Plague Tale coming to PSP. Or sorry, the PlayStation Plus, not the PlayStation Portable, but PlayStation Plus, PS Plus, Plague Tale coming for free. Yeah,
I'm hoping to play that again soon.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
That wraps up what we've been playing. I want to talk about an interesting article that Alan found and shared with us this week, which is the possibility of ads coming to console video games, and whether we want to talk about that or not.
Okay, I'm going to be ticked if I have to, because here's the thing. They already have the way to do it. I mean, just look when we're playing Control. When we're playing Control and, we can literally watch a 7-minute episode of Threshold Kids if we want to. I don't think any are that long. But, so they have the ability to put real crap in there. And the thing is, they don't have to make it mandatory. They just have to do the same way that EA did their horrific loot box crap that got everybody up in arms. They just have to give you a reward for it, and so you just lock something behind it. Like maybe you're in a lab, and behind you have to watch a video that's sponsored to get into that, and that's the only thing that'll open this door. And behind the door is loot or some kind of gear. Now the article that I sent to you was they had been doing it in Smite. The company had been piloting in Smite for the last year. So yeah, it'll probably be in free to play games to start with. That's true, but these companies will do anything to increase their bottom line. So it is not a stretch to think that would make the jump from free to play games to big box titles, because we already don't get with many of the AAA games. We already don't even get a complete game at launch or a working game at launch. Day one patches, that's madness. Why not just finish the game?
That's a discussion.
Yeah, that's a discussion for a different day. But it's just because I'm not a mouth breather who's going to send a freaking death threat to
right.
The same people getting cheesed off that the game doesn't work are the same people that threaten the lives of the developers for it not being out yet. I don't care. Take your time. Just don't release a steaming pile of crap. If we wait 7 years for something that's garbage, then I'm going to go to your house and beat you up. But not before.
This is inevitable, right? This is where this is all going. We see ads are more prevalent than they've ever been before. You've got cell phone companies spying on their users and then targeting ads towards people. This is just something that's going to happen. I think where this is going to probably have to take a stand is on the console developer side. Like Sony and Microsoft are going to have to take a stand on behalf of the player and say, no, you can't put these in our games. I feel like if EA tried to do something like this, there would be another massive revolt, and they would.
I hope so.
Get pulled out. But if this is an industry level thing where all these different companies start doing this at the same time, it's what are we gonna do? Stop buying every single game. I just think this is inevitably where it's gonna happen, and we'll just have to get the ad blocker mod for the Xbox.
But also, how funny would it be if there's just product placement in video games?
They already
how
do
hilarious is it, dude? It's so funny.
They already do it, but the thing is,
here's my Mountain Dew.
They pay through the nose. They pay through the nose for that, and so the other ads, in-game ads, other than the product placement, is its natural evolution, because the product placement thing already cheeses people off, and it's not cost efficient.
The one thing that we've got to keep in mind also is that I don't want to dive into the economy, but cost of living goes up. And prices of video games have stayed the same for a very long time. Michael, this is something you and I have talked about throughout the years of just prices are going up and up. And game prices have stayed $60 for a long time.
In this current generation, they've gone up.
This is the first time they've seen them bump up to 70, which they did during the Nintendo 64 generation.
64. I paid. Okay, first of all, I paid $80 for Final Fantasy III on the Super Nintendo back when I was a child, and then I know that we paid,
which was a lot of money back then.
Oh yeah, and I know we paid more than 70 at Toys R Us for WCW NWO Revenge for the 64. But we haven't seen them cost this much since the changeover to discs off of cartridges.
I mean, we started seeing them the developers trying to recoup some of this money with paid DLC and loot boxes, and they were just trying to get more money in. Yes, maybe some of them were more greedy than others, but these guys are a company and they're in this to make a profit. And when games are staying the same, and when you raise prices, gamers revolt, you've got to find ways to make your money somewhere else. $10 this generation is not enough to offset by a lot the amount of money that is going into some of these games. And so if they've got to throw ads in there, that's a price that we have to be willing to pay. Otherwise, we've got to be willing to really pay the price of $80, $90 video games.
Honestly, so that I would rather, I personally, and this is the same thing that people would normally like. I would rather pay more for the money, more for the game, than have ads in my freaking game. Because absolutely. I don't want that crap. And I understand. I am not against them making money. I absolutely think they should make money. I am not in favor of laziness, of assuming the consumer and the gamer is stupid, of taking advantage of the fact that they have brand loyalty and crap like that. I'm not in favor of shoddy product. But if it's a good product, I'm sorry, but The Witcher 3, I would have paid, if I was buying The Witcher 3 right now, I'd gladly pay $20 more. You want to increase those expansions, cost of the full game. That's fine. Blood and Wine and Hearts of Stone, that's 20 to 30 hours more of gameplay a piece.
Well, so that's where this gets really interesting. What is the value of a game? You have, for me, I just paid $60 for Mario Golf, which is basically, I believe, 10 courses that you can unlock that you can just play through different modes. Yeah. And I paid $60 for that. On the other side, and I'll get to this game in our later discussion, I paid $60. Actually, I was on sale, but that game, when it came out, Red Dead Redemption 2 was $60. That game is so much bigger than Mario Golf, but yet they were the exact same price. So what do you do when it comes to value? Because if you break it out in that way, what's to stop a developer from there's actually... It's endless replay value. Here's Rogue Legacy, but it's endless replay, so we're going to charge $80 for it.
Yeah, you make a good point though. If they did it like board games are not all the same. Gloomhaven is like $100 board game. It is different than, Monopoly, which is a $20 board game. I think the industry, and I've never thought about that, I think the industry could have some kind of complexity price scheme, or every developer sets their own price.
Alan,
what?
You just got to the point. I've literally been saying this on video game podcasts for a decade.
Oh, really?
Which is that video games pricing standards should change. The reason we had B games die is because of expectations based on a $60 game, based on the quality of production of the game. We now have a point where indie games can be amazing and high quality, and AAA games may be trying to do something small. What we need to do is get to the point where, without being offensive, everyone wants their game to be worth the most money, but let's be real. What's the name of that stupid new Bethesda game?
Fallout?
Starfield?
Starfield
should probably be $100 game. If we're being real, if it's like a Skyrim, Starfield should be $100 game.
I would pay $100 for Mass Effect. If Mass Effect Legendary Edition was $120, I'd have still paid it. It's absolutely worth it.
Exactly. We need to get to the point where we can regulate raising prices on games that are by AAA developers, because you're going to put 4K assets into all this bullcrap. It's going to be 120 gig to download the game before patches or anything. This crap is worth it. But also, if you want to make a smaller game, you may have different expectations for it. But if you pay $30 for it, your expectations may still be met. It's a different thing.
And we kind of see that already with PC gaming, where you've got these cheap or no, I don't want to say cheap, but these smaller indie games that are $15 or even $25 that are just made by a couple guys, but it's a much smaller concept of a game, or scope of a game, I should say, that they're just releasing on the computer. That started to come more and more to consoles as indie games have become more and more popular.
It's mostly just the indie games raising prices. It's very little the AAA games raising prices or lowering.
And to real quick, a side tangent for what led us here. My problem is when I'm talking about like not value, like them trying to take my money. When they remove things that I used to be able to get in game and put them behind a paywall. For example, the Tales games, my Weeb games, there were always quests and events you could do that were hidden in game to earn extra outfits for the characters. It was one of the best things. You could earn like 3 or 4 different outfits through just like exploration, like pretty in-depth exploration. Now, not one, you don't get a single new freaking costume in the games anymore. You have to buy every single one of them. And that crap makes me mad. Like, I don't mind if you want to like put it there for the people who don't want to fool with that. Like, if you want to make it be purchased also, but for those of us who are going to get all the secrets in the game, it should also be earnable in the game for the hardcore fans who are willing to put in the time. But the fact that they used to have those and then removed them to try to get my money, that crap makes me so angry. That's the kind of the nickel and diming that I hate about the current video game industry. But anyway, I do agree with the fact that I don't really understand why all video games cost the same as it is. I just took it for granted.
I think that's just the standard that has, quote unquote, evolved as we've come through these various console generations. That there's just been the standard pricing. I know when I think it was when the 360 came out. I think Gears of War the first $60 game, and then after that was kind of what set the standard for AAA games. It's just kind of it's this thing that I think is just kind of sort of happened throughout and it's just where we're at.
Wookiee
right
is hideous.
Yeah, it is. I think we just need to get to I also don't think that every single game needs to try to have photorealistic 4K graphics.
No.
Yeah, we have these fancy new systems. Yeah, we'd like that. But hey, guess what? If you make a game cheaper, you can sell the game cheaper, you can make more money on it.
My argument has always been that the reason the PlayStation 2 was the golden era of RPGs is because there was only X amount you could do with the graphics. And so they actually had time or spent time because they gave a crap about telling a compelling narrative. And now it is so much about its presentation and about how good the graphics look that they literally, they now skimp on a good story, a good narrative, good video game writing. Like, they don't care anymore because it's all about spectacle, smoke and mirrors. What does it look like? I cannot find another reason on why people used to be able to write a story in the 2000s, but somehow no longer know. Like, telling stories it goes back to the dawn of humankind. I don't know why they've lost the ability to do that.
We have to derail you a little bit. Alan, you have to admit on this podcast so people understand that you are not really one that dives into very many indie games because that's where the storytelling has gone.
Yeah.
The thing is, no.
They don't have the...
I disagree with you in the fact that you're right. I will say that I do not play a lot of indie games, but the reason I don't play indie games is because indie games don't really produce a bunch of RPGs, which is what I play. And the ones they do are not the ones that I want to... They're not really the ones that appeal to me. And that's why. Like, there's been a couple, like I Am Setsuna that I want to play, like, it's, kind of based on kind of the Chrono Trigger thing. But otherwise, like, I like RPGs. And the reason I like RPGs is the reason I play video games is for the story contained within. It's why I don't delve in a bunch of indie games, because indie games is like playing, like, a lot of times playing with mechanics or just a fun game with like a pared down kind of graphics thing. And I'm not trying to crap on indie games because a bunch of them, like, I know a bunch of people that play indie games. I just don't, because I'm
afraid what's going to happen is people are going to watch this podcast that actually like to play indie games and be like, dude, all the indie games is where all the good stories are. If you actually care about stories, you should be playing these games.
And I will say that my brother is playing an excellent kind of tactics RPG called Troubleshooter. That is an indie game, and it's only for Steam. So hold on. So let me pump the brakes a little bit and say, what I mean is, I don't play games on my computer. That is the main thing, that the main structure this narrative is taking. So you have to remove the computer from the equation. I don't enjoy gaming on my computer. I like playing on my console. Most indie games don't come to the consoles. And the ones that most of them don't come, the RPG ones. I would be playing Troubleshooter. I looked at that game, that indie RPG my brother's playing. If it was on the PS4, I'd absolutely be playing it. But it's not. It's not on the PS4. It's only on Steam. So I don't see, and I about once every couple months go to the PS Store and I filter by RPGs, by genre. And I look through even the indie RPGs, and none of them really appeal to me. That's the problem.
The storytelling focus in video games has moved away from RPGs in a lot of ways, because RPGs are not as popular because the RPG elements have been absorbed into other games. So I feel like the stuff that you're looking for, like a BioWare type game or whatever, that's a lot of that is getting moved to PC. A lot of the storytelling focused games are available on PlayStation, but they're not RPGs. You're going to be looking at walking simulators,
like
adventure
games like, I mean, I do play some of those, like the games like the Dark Anthology games, and the Uncharted games have great stories. You're wrong for not liking them, but the Uncharted games have.
Okay, hold on, just real quick. I'll clarify. I do like Uncharted. I just think that game is very bloated by mediocre gameplay segments.
He also Michael bought all of them too close together. So if you're playing Uncharted 1, 2, 3 all immediately after each other, there's not enough innovation between games for it to...
I could not disagree more. I played all three of them I played them when they came out, and then I bought the remaster and played them back to back, and then played 4.
You are a wild.
4 also does rule.
Please understand that I also played Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 2, 3 back to back. Oh, sorry, and then Black Flag back to back also.
I just don't want you to say that story games are not coming out anymore.
I understand.
When we've got like Life is Strange and Gone Home. What was that with the cabin in the woods?
I played Life is Strange. So I do play the ones that come out. But the thing is again, Steam has a ton of them. All right? The ones that come to PlayStation 4, I do look for them. But I can't be expected to play every freaking game and try to find the good ones. I just don't have the time. So I rely on other people or my, the gaming journalism that I follow to let me know when there's a game like that. And I have not come across them. Life is Strange is probably the last one like that came across that was recommended to me, and I played it and loved it. So my problem is that, that's why I play games. That's why I play games. And yeah, I know that you can have a good story in a different type of game, but again, I'm not going to be drawn to a different type of game. Like, I am drawn to JRPGs. That's what I enjoy. And then BioWare games, because I know they make Western RPGs that aren't boring. I don't like Skyrim or any of the Elder Scrolls. It is an open world filled with nothing. I don't care. Where does
Assassin's Creed fit?
Assassin's Creed fits in the fact that, one, I really like the incredible historical recreation of the settings, that I can literally climb the freaking Colosseum. And I like the fact that I have Asperger's. Let's never forget, autistic. It appeals, all these little fetch things, I can do them. They are relaxing to me, collecting all the things, while I am catching up on BookTube. Because I am a booktuber, I have to support my fellow booktubers. And I do that a lot of times while playing video games. I watch their videos and then pause and comment. And I can do that because running around and collecting all the crap for the plat in Assassin's Creed takes no brain power on my part. None. Yeah. And so it's just kind of something peaceful, something easy. I am the person achievements were developed for, that little endorphin boost when you unlock something, keeps you going to the next thing. And so that is the appeal of Assassin's Creed to me. And then the settings. Okay. The settings, the historical accuracy for the settings is amazing.
Yeah, I agree with Michael. I think a large part of the stories have moved. I'm not going to say all of them, because there are some amazing stories in AAA gaming still, but a large amount of some of the best story games have moved to indie Steam games, because that's where it's easier to develop for. And
I think a lot of them end up getting consoleized too.
Well, then I'm relying on you guys to point those out to me. If anybody watching this, console indie games that have amazing storylines, And don't just toss out one that you like. Guess what? Gears of War doesn't have an amazing storyline. I hate to spoil that for you.
No, that's not.
It is a blast to play.
We could do an episode on that. We could plan an episode, I bet, on indie games with amazing stories.
That'd be awesome.
I feel like I could.
Like I played Limbo, okay? Limbo is an indie game that was on the console. And I really liked what it did. And that was a creepy freaking game. But that's not really the kind of storytelling that I'm looking for.
A story.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, but I mean that's what I'm trying to clarify for people watching. Like, because that was one of the things that when I search for these kind of things, Limbo comes up. And it's like, oh, it's telling a story without it. I don't want that. I want dialogue and I want characters talking. Like, I want a narrative. That is why I play video games. I don't just do it because I need to be pressing buttons. Like, I could.
This is gonna be awesome because I bet we'll get a good list together.
I hope so.
Make you a nice little pile.
That would be awesome.
Well, everyone that's going to be responding to this, will focus on PlayStation 5 availability.
Yes.
Why do you? Real quick, Mark, Andrew, what do you guys play games for? Is it story? Do you care? Is it gameplay? Gameplay is another big reason.
I would say more game. Unfortunately, being dyslexic, unless the entirety of the story is voice acted, the chances of me slogging through a game, even if it's a great story, is so like the number of times you've tried to convince me to be like, you have to like get Danny to read you to the moon. Like, you have to do it. Like, it's so worth it. Like, yeah, unless it's all voice acted, I'm not gonna play the game like that's story based. So usually gameplay. If the games that do have enough voice act, like
Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah, Bioshock Infinite. Like, that's all. It's great. I love that game. I talk about it all the time. How old is it? So old now.
2010.
360 game, I think. So
yeah, like, and I talk about that game all the time still. But like, it has to be something like that, which unfortunately means it's a AAA thing, and I don't think AAA always focuses as much as about telling a very compelling narrative all the time.
I play games largely for gameplay, and story is like, I will play really good games with story, but the story has to be insanely good. In order for me to be able to overlook that gameplay. Final Fantasy VI is one of those games that the gameplay is fun. That's not the type of gameplay I would normally go for, but because the story and I just got wrapped into what was happening for some reason so deeply, like I was able to run with it. But like I play shooters mostly, and just because it's just fun. You know, I play games for the gameplay and just enjoying that time with friends.
And I'm the opposite in where I have dealt with crappy gameplay. Like, there are several JRPGs that aren't super fun to play, but the story was really good. And so I dealt with it. Mm-hmm. And that is why, and I'm so glad you met an Andromeda apologist this last week. That is why when they're like, oh, the combat's fun, I do not care. I do not care that the combat is fun. The story is boring. Okay.
See, Andromeda is a classic game. Just
terrible game.
I've been so close on picking it up on Steam.
Do not do it
because there's a Steam sale going on. It's like $7.50. Like,
I feel like I've seen it cheaper than that. I feel like I've seen BioWare pay people to take that game.
Do you know how BioWare wins all their fans back since Shepard's in Mass Effect 5? Send us to the Drell Hanar homeworld, the Volus homeworld, the Elko. It's built in. And it's crap we haven't done yet. And you can show off all the fancy tech by going to that water homeworld, which is the Hanar and the Drell. Yeah. Brilliant. Just do it. Just
like the thing that took me into Mass Effect to begin with wasn't necessarily the gameplay. It was more of what I mean.
Not in one. It was terrible.
All of us love Mass Effect.
There have been
the story.
Yeah. There have been fewer moments for me in games that I had with Mass Effect 1 where it was that opening to that game got me so incredibly pumped, and it was literally like hitting it's like this game was made for me. Like, you love story, you love Space Marines, you love spaceship, like aliens, like all this stuff. It was hitting every single button. I just remember sitting in my room playing this game, just like, this is amazing.
Can you remember the first time that Reaper talks to you, though?
When Sovereign, that was the moment. Gosh.
When Sovereign, so like I played Mass Effect because I knew it was a popular game.
Yeah.
I am not as big into sci-fi all the time, but I was like, okay, this is interesting. I like what we're doing here. The first time that you talk to Sovereign, I was like, holy frick, this is a cool game. And then like the first time you hear a Reaper noise, like when they make that big blaring sound thing, like they're good moments. There's there's definitely some good like story times. I never know how to. I used to always answer the question story. Then there was a period in my life where I said I always love games for gameplay. At this point, I feel like I'm probably very like hippie willing to just approach a game for whatever it's trying to do. I'll take either one at this point. I'll play an indie game that has nothing, that's just gameplay. I'll play a story game that maybe is kind of crappy if the story is good. I don't know how to answer that question myself yet. Because over time I've gotten more accepting of whatever.
I would say my preferred is co-op though. Like playing a game, whether it's fun or story, just playing a game with like couch co-op.
Yes.
Like playing, growing up playing games with Michael, like that's the most fun I've ever had. Or even still, when we play games, is the most fun I ever had playing games. It's just being with a person, whether the game kind of sucks. Like we've played some. How much time do we put into that dumb Resident Evil game?
Resident Evil 5 is not a good game.
The game sucks. We put a lot of time
to die, Chris.
We put so much freaking time in that.
A couple of years ago, I just moved away from home. Kind of took a job somewhere else, and I wasn't very far, but I was off on my own for sure. And having the ability to play games with friends, like that was one of the most meaningful things for me. Just being able to talk to, catch up with people, but and just yell at freaking noobs and like, stay in your lane. It's just like all the trash that you would talk online, but just
cheating.
All these things. So just playing Warzone with just friends online, like from more and more as I grow older, like for me, for games is about the social aspect of it and playing with friends, and being able to talk with friends about the games that we're playing. When you mentioned BioShock Infinite, Mark, when that game came out, like Michael and I wouldn't shut up about it. Like the game,
that's why I played it. You guys wouldn't stop.
It was so incredible, and just that social aspect for me is really why I think I stay in games as much as I do.
I probably have a billion examples I could say with Mark because we grew up together, obviously. But
we've played.
One of my like favorite memories with socializing in game was there. I think it was it the year my sister got married? My wife left, and Andrew moved his TV and his consoles to my house.
Yeah.
And so we had all these plans, right? We were like, we're going to play Titanfall 2. We're going to play all these crazy games. They came to my house. My wife was gone. We had infinite time. We bought like a buttload of pizza rolls. We bought a buttload of soda to get codes for Titanfall 2. Yep. And instead, what we did was I had just hooked up my sound system to my freaking brand new, not my brand new speakers, but some nicer speakers.
Yeah.
We listened to the radio and we played an entire season of whatever the
Super Mega Baseball.
Super Mega Baseball. We played an entire season over the course of a week listening to Top 40 radio, and it was one of the most fun video game experiences of my life. I don't like baseball. Really? No. It's fine. I think baseball's fine. I think that game is fine, but we had a blast, and it was just because we were being stupid together, making fun of the characters, what they looked like in the stupid game, which that game is very good. I'm saying stupid in a level.
When I was in college, the most fun we had was hooking up the PS2 multitap and playing Time Splitters 3. Time Splitters 2 and then Time Splitters 3. I can't, like, everyone, like, most people are playing Halo and stuff, but, like, I was, like, we played, I always preferred Time Splitters 1 because you didn't have to play Master Chief. You could select these weird characters. And also, it was much faster than Halo, like, super fast-paced. And you could play on your own because it had bots. Like, it was, like, no shooters at the time had bots you could play against. And so
they did, but not Halo. That was right after they unnormalized bots. Yeah. They were normalized before that. And then Halo was like, hey, you don't have to have bots in your game anymore. Like, but you want
Oh, and it was we played, like, we would spend hours, day upon day, like after everyone got off work, they would just come, or school, come over to my house, and we'd freaking play Time Splitters, and we played every mode repeatedly, like we would, and we would just, how much more madness could we make this game? So we'd turn on, like, friendly fire, like, and you're running around, like, you jack up everyone's speed, and I remember I sit there, and I fat-fingered my controller, and my buddy, my partner is like, he's sitting guarding, like, I don't know, some like point or whatever. He's standing at this thing, and I fat fingered and threw a grenade at him, and I'm panicking, and I'm trying to tell him to move, and I just can't. In my panic brain just goes, Travis, you're in danger! And he's like, and by the time he even realizes what I'm saying, that nade blows up. I could have said any number of things, but instead, Travis, you're in danger!
That's a good one.
It was terrible. Yeah. But that game was so fun.
Me, my brother, and our cousin came in from out of town, and we were playing Towerfall.
Towerfall Ascension is amazing.
It's so good.
Why are why are the four of us not playing Towerfall right now?
We should be.
Because it's on Switch.
Be a feature right
I've got it.
We didn't.
I also have it.
We have never. We play that periodically when people come out and play video games with us, and we had never beaten it on the hardest difficulty.
I'm the blue guy.
Why have we never beat it on the hardest difficulty, Mark?
Well, yeah, this is the story. We were playing through again, trying to beat it on the hardest difficulty with our cousin Micah, and it was like 3 a.m. and I had to also open the coffee shop I worked at the next day, so I was like, I have to be at work in an hour and a half.
Ooh.
And we beat it. Like, we killed the last boss. Michael was dead, and I don't know what compelled me.
Satan himself.
I killed Micah on accident, and then walked into
he defeated the boss and just full spammed arrows.
I spammed arrows,
killed him,
killed Micah, and then I proceeded to walk into the last thing on screen that would kill me. We died, wiped, and I was like, I have to go to bed. I have to.
We always randomize. We always play like verses, and then we randomize the rules that are in play, and it creates absolute madness. Absolute madness.
Just trying to figure out what was even going on.
We would do that in Mortal Kombat. Me and Michael would play each other in Mortal Kombat and be like, what are the random rules we're getting? You could only uppercut.
There was a mode for that. Yeah. It was a wheel, like, it would spin a wheel and just pick random rules for the fight, yeah.
And like, it would give you different ones, too.
Game.
What are you talking about? That's what makes it so good.
The fact that it's unresponsive and, like, really, like...
Wait, which Mortal Kombat are you talking about? Are you talking about 9?
No, I'm talking about, like, Mortal Kombat 3. And, like,
what about the ones for the Game Boy?
We're talking about 9, dude. Mortal Kombat 9 is so freaking good. It is way better than it has any right to be. It has a story with actual dialogue that's so campy. I love Mortal Kombat 9 so much.
I have not played it since like 3.
Hey Andrew, do you remember late nights with Rainbow Six Vegas 2 Terrorist Hunt?
Oh yeah. No, Rainbow Six Conviction, Splinter Cell Conviction. That probably stands out way better. Like the best co-op game probably I've ever played. Splinter Cell Conviction.
It's real good.
We played that back like 2010. It was the day I graduated high school. Where I finished my graduation party, said everybody, I was like, all right, I'm going over to Michael. So we played Splinter Cell Conviction and beat the co-op in one night. And it was funny because a couple years ago, not that long ago, we were like, let's play. I think your wife was out of town, so we decided to play through it again. And it was still just so much fun.
It was unfortunately too easy. We got too good at it. And
we're like, we'll just up the difficulty. It is on the best difficulty.
We played it on the best difficulty, walked through the level, and we were like, dang, we got to turn up the difficulty. We're like, oh, dang, we did.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like we're sneaking around. We're just like, poof, poof, just we walked
in and like John Wicked it up.
Yeah. No, first, video games are this is one of the things that they do amazing. Like, one of the reasons I bought a Switch, shut up, Alan, was literally because I wanted a console to bring to my family. It's like, it's portable. Let's just play Mario Kart. It's super exciting. Everyone in my family can play Mario Kart. Like, let's just have fun. And it's always a blast to just get family and friends together and just do dumb stuff together in the electronic world. Like, it's such a blast.
Video games bring people together, man. That's what I learned today.
Nothing. I did not anticipate.
This episode was so much more wholesome than I anticipated it being. Honest.
That's because you didn't. That's because you didn't start the discussion that I thought you were going to start discussing.
Yeah. We didn't lead with Michael's dog dying like we planned on.
No, there was something in the Discord that we were going to fight about.
There was a couple things.
Oh, you were going to start talking about how BioWare sucks, but we're not going to talk about that now.
Yeah.
We can also make stuff even more wholesome. We can be like the fact that Michael's read so many video games to me because I wasn't allowed to play them if there was cursing, so he would just turn down the dialogue and read all of it.
Dude, when I was a kid, I printed off the script to Monty Python's Holy Grail, and would at night would just because me and my brothers
story I've ever heard.
We shared a room
your whole life.
So I shared a room with my two brothers, and so I just had the script, and I would just read scenes from that movie, and we're supposed to be sleeping, but we're just dying laughing at this stuff.
I had a binder where I had printed out all of the codex entries for Kingdom Hearts 1 so I could read up on the game when I wasn't, because I was only able to play half an hour a day. I was a child, and I would read up on all the codices for Kingdom Hearts. That was back when Kingdom Hearts sort of made sense.
Dude, you're a freaking nerd.
It does please me. Yeah. It does please me that you know the plural of codex is codices and not
codexes.
Well, unlike the rest of these heathens here, I read books.
Well, it comes from the Latin codex, codecus, and so the plural ending is es. That is why it does that. Same thing with oasis, oases, crisis, crises. All true.
Nice.
Huh. I know the crisis one, but that's comic books.
I'm going to give everybody a teaser. Next week, we are going to focus on recommending independent story games to Alan on the PlayStation.
No, it's going to be
not next week. Not next week.
Next week. Oh, frick!
Not next week.
All right. In 2 weeks, we will focus on recommending independent PlayStation games to Alan that focus on story.
2 weeks is good. That gives us time to research and figure this out.
We will also have a discussion on open world games, whether they're good, the pros and cons, etc. Because that is a conversation I think we can have here with Alan and Andrew that would be really interesting.
For the most part, the cons is they're boring. So now you have my opinion.
So I'll be curious to see if we could talk about that. I think there's some really good stuff to be had in that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next week, we're going to be missing some people, so I might have some guests on. Or, we'll see. It's our first hurdle to overcome.
We know tons of people like video games. Get them.
Yep. So I may be contacting you to ask if you want to be on the episode next week.
I'm out of town.
Not you.
Hey, what about me?
Your camera was looking at me. Sorry.
Well, I was looking directly into. So yeah, next week will be a little bit different. We'll also hopefully get some features up soon. I have an idea for one, but I need a prop, and I need to go buy it. And I meant to do it the other day, and I looked at the price, and it was $4. And I said $4 is too much for a prop, and then I'm like, frick, I can't get this cheaper anywhere else, and I should have bought it.
$4 is not too cheap for a prop.
Well, I'm not an actor like you, dude. I'm just a normal person. I'm not used to lying for a living or anything.
You work in IT. It's all you do. You work for an ISP.
No, I'm not a marketer, though.
Yeah, but people call you and say, hey, do I have 1 gig download? And you say yes. And they have 100 megabytes, and you know it.
Guys, I work for an ISP. We've had people threaten to destroy the store because their internet is down.
That rules so hard.
That was me. That was me.
I literally had this dude threaten to throw a chair through the window because his internet was down at 3 o'clock
I don't know
if
you saw. I'm also the reason that you keep getting unsweet tea when you order sweet tea at these restaurants.
Hey, guess what I've been drinking this whole freaking episode, my dude?
Did you make it?
Ooh,
I make our sweet tea too sweet, so Danny won't let me make it anymore.
You guys are in freaking Nebraska. You don't have any claim to sweet tea.
There's been a whole discussion
on Twitter.
Our
parents are hicks. What are you talking about?
Speaking of which, if you have not been following any of us on Twitter, Alvin and I are both available on Twitter. I'm Michaeknipp, and he is Library of Allenxandria.
On Twitter, right? I'm just Allenxandria.
Okay. And then also, Alan has a booktube channel where he talks about the literature he's been reading. He's very well read.
So is Michael.
He's very... well, I wasn't gonna...
stop trying to make him seem like a nerd, dude.
He was talking about Latin.
You just read off all those Kingdom Hearts freaking codices or whatever the heck, dude.
Both Alan and I have channels. His is Library of Allenxandria. Mine is Michaeknipp. We talk about books. Marcus, you want to pitch your Instagram thing and your YouTube?
I do. I have a YouTube channel where I'm actually working on a video now that won't be out probably for a month because I have to learn how to do stuff in After Effects, and I'm going to school. But I also have to post stuff. I follow me on Instagram at AfroThunda, I think is my name. I should probably change it to my name. That'd be easier.
It is AfroThunda, named after the character from Rumble to Rumble Box.
What a terrible
game. Terrible, but kind of fun if you're a bunch of 10-year-olds.
You're a bunch of losers, dude. We're homeschooled losers, man. And we weren't allowed to play game. We weren't allowed to play anything. So anything we were allowed to play, we played the mess out of. Yeah, Afrothonda on Instagram, where, every Wednesday I make fun of my college classes for the most part.
Andrew, this is your point to give a little bit of a monologue.
Friend Andrew on Facebook.
I did.
So, so next week I'm going to be gone. I'm actually going to be taking a motorcycle trip out west. So my goal is to actually take pictures during this trip and actually post them on the internet. So you can find me on Instagram at Drewby132. It's the username I've had for ages. No video game affiliation. Just that's the name that I've got. And
it's less embarrassing than Ponigan.
Shut up. Sorry. So you're actually going to pitch your Instagram? You're going to talk about your motorcycles and stuff?
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah. Well, we're my father and I were going to pack up and head
throw
out.
An Instagram live over the weekend and explain to us how bikes work.
Yeah, if anyone wants to see the wonderful formation of Carhenge, stay tuned to my Instagram.
Oh frick! You did say you were going to Carhenge.
Dude, Andrew's taken off and he's gonna get on Instagram and talk about his sweet hog.
You can find this show at pressxtorevolution.com, where I'll also have links to the audio version of this podcast. If you're I've had somebody approach me this week and say, "Hey, I'd like to listen to your podcast, but I don't have time to watch the video." I said, "Guess what? Our podcast is now available on every major platform for podcasts. So check us out if that's something you want to do." There's obviously this YouTube channel, or if you're listening to the audio version, there's a YouTube channel where we might also have additional video game features of us playing things and probably making jokes, unless they're deathly serious video
we can play
gameplay.
Look, we can hook up some Towerfall Ascension and play some Towerfall Ascension.
Yeah, that would be amazing. There's a Twitter account, there's an Instagram account for this website, Press X to Revolution, and if you like this show and you have fun watching it, please share it. Please subscribe. Yes. We're trying to hit 100 subscribers. That's our first goal, and we are well on our way. Tell everybody
I'm on my way.
Brother Bear reference is how we're going to end this episode.
Brother Bear's not a good movie.
It's not a good movie. It's not a good movie. But it's not a soundtrack. So until next time, I was going to say until next time, press X to Revolution. How do I normally end the show?
That's what you say.
Until next time, press X to Revolution. I'm sorry. Are you going to do your little X thing? There we go. See you guys.